guys! Today I'm going to review another Doctor Who story, and this one's called The Sontaran Experiment. Doctor Who, The Sontaran Experiment was broadcast in 1975 and is a two-parter. It's the third story from season 12. And season 12 was Tom Baker's first season as the Doctor. The story follows on directly from the last story, The Ark in Space, and it has the same director, Rodney Bennett, who did both these stories. And both stories were originally going to be a six-parter before they were both split up. The story was written by Bob Baker and Dave Martin, and these two writers have also written for the show before. It was produced by Philip Hinchcliffe and music by Dudley Simpson. It features the return of the Sontarans from last season's The Time Warrior. The Sontarans would appear 4 times in the classic show: The Time Warrior, The Sontaran Experiment, The Invasion of Time, and The Two Doctors, and would appear a lot in New Who. The story was criticised by Mary Whitehouse for its depiction of helpless adults in a state of terror. Part 1 got 11 million, Part 2 got 10.5 million viewers. The Ark in Space was a studio-bound story, whereas this one is all set on location. It was filmed at Dartmoor. Instead of shot on film, it was shot on videotape instead. This was to save money. However, Tom Baker broke his collarbone during filming and had to use a neck brace, and a lot of the action scenes were filmed using his stunt double. Although it's third in the season, this is actually the second story that Tom Baker filmed. The Sontaran Experiment stars Tom Baker as the 4th Doctor, Elisabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith, Ian Marter as Harry Sullivan, and Ian Marter also wrote the novelisation in 1978. Tom Baker's just celebrated his 89th birthday, so I thought I'd do a few Tom Baker stories. So I thought I'd review this one because it follows on straight on from The Ark in Space, which I just reviewed on the channel. So in this story, Sarah, Harry and the Doctor beam down from the Ark. They beam down to planet Earth, but they encounter a Sontaran who's experimenting on these humans. And this season has like a mini story arc where the stories connect to each other. So this was a two-parter, which is unusual for a Tom Baker story, the only one he ever did. The first episode, not a great deal happens, it's more of a scene setter. Whereas the second episode, that's when the action starts. The end of episode 1, you see the Sontaran take his helmet off. That's an iconic scene. But the second episode's good. You see a fight between the Doctor and the Sontaran. And for me, one of the best things about this story is the Sontaran makeup. I think it's probably the best makeup that the Sontarans have ever had. It's so much better than the new Sontarans that we get these days, where they look almost comical. Whereas this Sontaran, the makeup's quite eerie. So I think the Sontaran in this story and the Sontaran in the first story, The Time Warrior, they're definitely the best two makeups for the Sontarans. And I like the little continuity as well. When Sarah first sees the Sontaran, she thinks it's Lynx from the first story. She says they all look the same.
Same ugly...
Identical, yes. The same, no. I am Styre, Field Major Styre, as you would address me, of the Sontaran G3 Military Assessment Survey. And your opinion of my looks is of no interest to my programme.
However, the trouble with this story is it's all set on location, Dartmoor, and after a while it gets a little bit tedious, the same locations, the same hills. It would have been a much stronger story if they could have split it up into different scenes, different sceneries. However, with it just being the same location, it does get a little bit boring after a while. And it was also shot on videotape. Usually when they do film and they shoot it on film, but this was to save money, they shot it on videotape, and it looks a fraction bit too bright at times. You can tell the difference between videotape and film. Film's got a bit more grain to it. It looks a bit more moodier, darker looking. Hey Phil, how much did it cost to make this bloody story? A fucking tenner? I do like the idea of the Sontaran using experiments on humans. This was similar to Star Trek stories like The Cage and The Empath, where aliens are using humans for experiments. It's a bit like lab rats, when scientists experiment on mice and things. They're using it on humans. And then Marter, who wrote the novelisation, he went a bit more into detail about the experiments in the novelisation, made it a bit more sort of like menacing, a bit more horrific. I'm surprised Mary Whitehouse complained about this story. If it had been filmed like the novelisation, she'd have plenty to complain about. And this was just the second story that Tom Baker filmed, and he hasn't quite got the Doctor right yet. His Doctor's sort of like a bit too friendly in his earlier filmed ones. I like him when he gets angrier, a bit more nastier. And this wouldn't happen until Genesis of the Daleks. That's when Tom got into his stride with the role. Sarah and Harry don't have a great deal to do in this story. Harry falls down this, like, steep hill, and he doesn't have much to do once he falls down that. He kind of vanishes for a while.
Harry! Harry, there's something wrong here. The edge of this hole's been covered.
Well, of course it has. That's why I felt... Oh, yes, I see what you mean. A deliberate trap, eh?
Where the hell did Harry go to when he fell down that bloody hole? Was he taking a fucking shit all day? Although Sarah Jane Smith, she doesn't have much to do as well. She's still good though. I like how Elisabeth Sladen can portray fire with her eyes. That's really good. There is a few dodgy effects in this story. The robot that the Sontaran uses, that doesn't look very good. That bloody robot looks crap. Was it made using the fucking Meccano set? And the final shot of Sontaran's face when it dies, it's like an inflated balloon. It looks terrible. Hey, bloody hell. Fancy painting a bloody Sontaran face on the bloody balloon. Looks soft as bloody shit. So I thought this story was a bit disappointing. The trouble is it's in the middle of two classics. The Ark in Space, this one, and then Genesis of the Daleks, which is the next one. Genesis of the Daleks is probably the best story ever made, in my opinion. So overall I thought the first episode was disappointing, not much happened. The second episode was good though. However, the story does look cheap, and it uses the same location, and it's shot on videotape. However, the Sontaran makeup's really good. So out of 10, taking everything into account, I think I'd give this one 7. 7 out of 10. Still good, but compared to other stories in this season, disappointing. What did you think, Bones? Did you like it? Not bad, Phil. Tom Baker's the best Doctor. So the show would get on track with the next story, Genesis of the Daleks. Absolute gem that, so I'll have to review that one sometime. So Tom Baker's just celebrated his 89th birthday. Happy birthday! So happy birthday, Tom. Still my favourite Doctor. Happy birthday, Tom Baker. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Like, subscribe and share. Bye everyone. Bye. Bye.